We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous.
Here we go.
Roar. Okay, what did I do last time? All right. Gosh, I got two to pick from. What should I do?
This is exciting now because that's like,
yeah,
I don't know what to expect.
All right, everyone. Matt, you tell me. Pick A or B.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm going to leave it on you because I know what they are. So I would be knowingly picking one over the other. You're just picking.
So when I think A or B, I immediately go ass or breasts.
Interesting.
And
that sounds like something you learned in elementary school. Naturally.
Yeah. So, man, I like both.
So then why do you use those two things
tough.
as your?
But if I had to make a choice between the two, it's probably going to be breasts every time.
Okay, so B.
Yeah, we're going to go B.
Gotcha. Hello, and welcome to High School Famous, the podcast that, if given the chance, would go back in time to attend every single LMFAO concert.
Would it?
Would we really?
What a dumb band name.
Would we really
also.
do? Would we really do anything that a lot of these intros suggest?
Oh no, but this one's especially haunting.
But the thing is, we have to separate ourselves. We're not talking about you and I would do this. The podcast would do it.
The entity that is the podcast. Okay,
is an LMFAO fan.
Okay,
and regrets.
I don't know if I can do this anymore.
It regrets being incarnated after the rise and fall of the group that is LMFAO. So
are they no longer a thing?
It seemed like they had like a year or so run. Then they announced.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've kind of.
But then they had
spiked and fallen. But are they still a group?
They announced that they are not going to make any more music.
Oh, they have announced that officially.
According to something I looked up, because I looked up a list of bands that suck or musical groups that suck.
And were they at the top of the list?
No, there's a lot on there, but it was more so groups that became insanely popular for some reason.
Flash in the pan,
even though they suck. Like it seems like you ask most people on the street, you're like, they suck, but they still for some reason are immensely popular. So it was a list of groups like that. And it did say, because I think they kind of blew up around, I think it said like 2011, 2012, that era.
Yeah.
And I think it even said that like by the end of 2012, they had announced they were not going to make any more music together. So that did not last long at all.
No.
But they were sort of like a product of the time anyway. They were very...
Yeah.
It was very 2012,
I think the only reason they kind of were popular at all is because there's like, oh, they're kind of goofy. Like they got this goofy song with a goofy video. And it's just like, oh, have you seen this? And I think it's just kind of that whole thing of just like, this crazy thing, look at this crazy thing. And everybody watches it and they're like, oh, that's pretty crazy. And then it's like, but no, after that, you're just kind of like, no, I'm not into this. That was funny. That was interesting or funny, but I'm not going to buy their album.
I'm going to use a term to describe the song in the modern era. The song slaps.
Does it?
I just wanted to show off that I knew that term.
Oh, you fucking show off.
The song slaps facts. It doesn't slap facts. I'm just saying facts afterward to reinforce my previous statement.
Facts, son.
Can you fax yourself? Like if you claim something, can you go facts? Like, because usually that's a term to say like I agree or that's true.
Right.
But can you say something and then fax yourself?
If it's actually true, I think if it's a real true statement, you could get away with that. You'd be like, I'd be, it rained today. Facts.
Okay. If it's undisputable, or if it's not subjective, if it's not a subjective statement, like it rained
if you
today
were to be
or
like,
yesterday.
I'm the best at sex. Facts. I'd be like, I can't disprove, and I don't want to.
Yeah,
but probably not.
It's probably not true. I mean, I know you, and I know others. So But I suppose most people would just have to say, well, I can't deny or, I can't verify or deny that. I don't have the data.
Yeah. And then that's when you throw the line out there of like, well, let's
go on a data.
Let's compile. How about you and me go compile some data?
Let's compile some data all night.
Yeah, I'll compile all up on you.
Yeah. Spread my sheet.
Yeah.
Let's spread the sheets.
I don't know why I was thinking of like, what are like the grossest terms to describe like having an orgasm? And I'm thinking like,
I don't really know if I'm aware
not
of that
necessarily
many
the grossest, but kind of the one like maybe cringiest or anything. But like, I was just thinking of like, if you're just like, oh, I completed, like stuff like that. Like, I've concluded.
Concluded. Well,
I concluded all over her.
When I hear concluded, I always think that there's another follow up, because usually that's like, in conclusion, my bullet points again.
Oh, so, don't say bullet after that.
I did that on purpose. So when
I'm about to conclude.
So to me, concluded says there's more.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, there's more coming.
What if you were having sex with somebody and then you're like, and in conclusion, and then you just ejaculate. Then you finish. Then you complete.
To summarize,
To summarize, then you have to go back and start over.
I suppose that. Well, that's what kind of like when you're saying in conclusion, you kind of do that again. It's the same thing. Summarizing.
Say you've had a very lengthy session with a woman, and you've done a few different things. So
cram session.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen. Oh. So a cram session would be a quick lovemaking, as opposed to
you're just trying to get.
That'd be like a nooner.
Afternoon delight.
So you've had yourself a lengthy session with a lady. This is all very sexy talk, by the way. This is what women like to hear.
Yeah, this is what draws them in.
having a session. We're having a session. So you've done multiple things, multiple positions, multiple, mouth stuff, hand stuff, the works, right?
Yeah.
And then then right before the end, you're like, and to summarize, and you quickly just go do all the things. Again. Real fast though, like uncomfortably fast. And then you say, and in conclusion, and then just let her rip.
I suppose that might play, if your partner is a real sort of bookworm, I could see some people maybe going for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a fan. Well, maybe
for that.
So I guess I'm not thinking of anyone in real life, but I was thinking of the character Amy on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think that maybe that would be something that would rev her engine a little bit.
Because she's like a completionist.
All about binders and all about, Yeah, so
she would find that very sexy in the bedroom to like do the
Yeah, I think
the quick recap.
I think if Detective Peralta were to pull out that move, it would be a winner.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no one in real life came to mind. Just a caricature of a person that's been like, on a television show.
I think that would be a funny like porn parody thing to do.
Is that where we are? Do they make? I know they make like goofy porn, but do they make porn that parodies porn?
I don't know if they. Yeah, that I don't know. That might be an open demographic.
It might be an
like,
untapped market.
Not demographic, but yeah, that's possibly an untapped market of like find a specific porn and then parody that porn. It'd just be like, because so much porn is already just a parody on
it's a parody
life in general, and
other
parodies
shows,
on actual things,
movies. Yeah.
So to parody porn on top of that, it was just like how much overacting. Like it gets to the point where you're overacting so much that are you underacting eventually? You just come so far back around that
it almost maybe would be taken more seriously than the original. I wonder if would that be akin to like if you tried to parody a Weird Al song, you think?
How would you even do that? How would you parody on top of a parody like that?
The only thing the only way
it would have to be a song about Weird Al.
I was going to say it would have to be
done
referential
to the tune
like that
of like one of his non-parody tracks.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Well, I know a lot of his non-parody tracks are just sort of like polka music.
Yeah, I mean he's got especially kind of towards the beginning, I think he had some more original kind of stuff. I think all of his albums he had originals.
at least one original work on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, those, you can see how well those did.
Weird Al's kind of a strange one too, because I feel like he like kind of had this arc of like getting very, very popular, and then he kind of faded a bit, but now he's like super big and popular again. I think also because of that documentary, or not documentary, but the movie about him is coming out soon too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is playing him.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's
he looks the part. I mean, the voice, what I've heard of it, I'm like, the voice isn't a Weird Al voice. Weird Al's kind of got a tough, slightly highish voice.
He's got a tough voice to do.
Yeah,
I've only seen Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know anything else about his work as far as his range as an actor. So I don't know how he would do as playing Weird Al. I mean, you think if you're making a movie about Weird Al, he's a pretty well established. Everyone knows who Weird Al is, so you got to get it right. So you don't. It's not like, I think it would be a project that would bring in a lot of top level actors interested in playing him.
Right.
So hopefully whenever there's a casting like that, I always wonder, were they cast because they are just a really famous actor, or is it because they did the best audition and were the best that fit the part that they're auditioning for? A lot of times I feel like it's just, they're a really big celebrity. Yeah. Let's get them over someone who's a little less known that would do a better job.
Yeah. Or they look slightly like the person, so we're just going to take them.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you have someone would do an amazing job, but they would look nothing like the person they're portraying, I could see that being a reason to not cast someone. But you can always put on makeup, and you can always do stuff with computers to make them look a little more like they are.
Right.
So I guess in this day and age, it probably shouldn't be something that would hinder you from getting a part. If the only thing you had against you was that you just didn't look anything like, you didn't resemble the person at all. But again,
yeah, I mean,
but they could also look at it this way. Well, we can find someone that maybe isn't quite as good, but they look a lot more like them. So that saves us a lot of money on effects to make them look like the person. All we gotta do is slap a wig on them and some light makeup, and we're good to go.
And that wig slaps.
Slaps. It slaps hard. It slaps the A and the B.
At the same time?
It's a long wig.
Long wig.
We're talking a Weird Al wig. Oh. You know? I don't know if I've ever seen him with short hair.
Yeah. Early on he had shorter, like still like shorter. Not short, right. But like shorter.
But I'm not talking like I haven't seen him sport a haircut like yours or mine.
Right.
So
he's not buzzing his head or anything.
No. So
as far as we know.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I've never seen
that. Could be a wig.
You know what? Maybe his original look was his real hair, and then he started to thin, and he's like, I got to maintain this persona, you know?
Could be.
Which is, if that were the case, and he slowly was like transitioning from just sort of filling in some spots to full-on wig, it's a little bit fitting that he became big on parodying some Michael Jackson songs.
Yeah.
Too soon for what?
I don't know. Film Michael Jackson's hair.
I was talking about his vitiligo.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when he burnt his hair. I believe Michael Jackson was also known to wear wigs.
I did not know that. Point, I know he burnt his hair in that Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
But I did not know about him wearing wigs or not.
I like how that Pepsi commercial was a parody on his own song as well. Like that was Michael Jackson parodying his own song to make it about Pepsi.
Oh, was it? I don't think I ever saw it.
I think it was the song Bad. And they changed it for Pepsi.
How did they change it?
Some of the lyrics, I can't remember.
They didn't change bad. They didn't say like,
no.
Won't you drink me now because I'm carbonated? Like what? How can you adjust bad to be something that describes soda? I'm rad.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up again to see.
I'm rad. I'm rad. Tastes good because I'm rad.
The whole commercial is just Coke's bad.
Coke's bad. That's what it is.
Pepsi.
They don't even change bad. They just put. Oh,
just dump Coke in front of it.
It sounds messy.
Oh yeah, that's why his hair got caught on fire, because his foot got the flame was supposed to go out. He was supposed to be away from where the flame was going to shoot, but they spilled Coke on the floor, so his shoe got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he couldn't move fast enough, and then his hair got lit on fire.
I think if anybody could have gotten away from that, it would have been him. His footwork was legendary, and you think he's going to be hung up like it's almost like he's caught in quicksand. It's that bad.
I mean, it was just enough of oh, this is sticky, and he kind of like
He got distracted
by it,
Got
and
it.
slowed down, and then the thing went off.
And then when he realized what was going on, the fire was too close. He tried to turn. He tripped. He fell down. He said HeHe, and then his hair caught on fire.
I feel like that's
He said Shaman.
I just feel, for whatever reason, felt like a really dumb joke would be like, what were Michael Jackson's pronouns?
Yeah, that is bad.
I said it's dumb.
Yeah.
But that's what just popped in my head. So there you go. But you have to refer to him as HeHe every time.
Yeah. When you're
This is Michael. HeHe is in here for a skin graft because he burned his head.
HeHe is the number one selling artist of all time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
There's been allegations that HeHe was touching. It's so stupid.
When you're discussing such a serious matter, to throw the HeHe in front of it, it's like, sir, please take this seriously.
What you're being alleged of is very inappropriate.
Imagine someone testifying in court about something that Michael Jackson did to
and
them.
He touched me.
He took me on the carousel. Oh boy!
He losing my pants.
Do you need a tissue, sir? Oh no, I'm not crying.
No. I'm taking this very seriously.
Even though he did these horrible things to me, for some reason I'm still.
Who did?
All right, fair enough.
Even though
he did these horrific things to me, I'm still respecting his wishes and on his wishes, I guess. Yeah. Huh? Who would have known? We would have tread these waters.
Oh man, it's so stupid. It's like it shouldn't be funny.
It shouldn't be funny
to me.
Because
it's just kind of funny to me.
Allegedly, those poor boys, went through a lot.
Yeah,
but we all know Dave Chappelle's take on that, do we not?
I don't know if I do.
Oh, he was basically saying like, "Come on, though. Yes, this might have happened to you. Come on, it's Michael Jackson. Like, who else can say that? Like this, it's almost bragging rights."
Oh God, that's terrible.
Yeah, and then
oh yeah, you just got molested by your camp counselor. I got fucking molested by Michael Jackson.
Exactly. It's a one-up. It's a one-upping thing.
Yeah.
And then he also went on to be like, "Here's why I don't believe all of it. Why would he not have gone after Macaulay Culkin? Because like, if you're gonna go after anybody, if you're into that, Macaulay Culkin's the one, especially at that time. So he's like, he was buddy with Macaulay Culkin. So it's like, this is why I don't believe it. There's no stories about him going after Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, I think even Macaulay Culkin has said like, yeah, definitely nothing has ever happened.
Yeah. So here we are.
I mean, at this point, we can only hear the stories of the people now, and we can't hear anything from Michael anymore.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we can just keep replaying that little testimony from that little video from like the 93 trial where he basically is denying everything, and just replay that.
And all that shit's always just he said anyway, so what do you know?
It's just it's a he said she said.
It's not going to stop being funny to me.
It is funny. And it's like,
in the future, if we ever talk about Michael Jackson, it's got to be the thing now.
We have to refer to him as he.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, I'll give this to you. What started off as a really awful, not funny joke has earned its place.
Become funny.
It's earned its place. I wasn't sold on the original idea, but
until
the more you fed me,
it's dumb until you start actually using it.
Exactly.
And then it just becomes funny because it's so dumb.
Here's what it is. Presenting that as a joke, as in like, well, yeah, this is what it would be. To use it more of an explanatory way is not effective.
Yeah.
But in practice, it's
in
funny.
Practice, yeah.
It's funny in practice.
It's funny. Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's us.
Yes.
We did that. I don't think you'll find that anywhere on the internet.
You know what? Hold on. I mean, that's kind of right there, though. That's like right there for the taking. Are you sure?
It is.
I would be hard pressed to believe that No one else has made that connection.
You know, I haven't been on Twitter in a long time, and I feel like I need to tweet that just to have a record of it out there.
Yeah, that's
if
one
Michael
thing.
Jackson were alive today, his pronouns would be HeHe.
I mean, I think before this post, like right now, you need to go on Twitter before this episode posts, and you need to do that so that no one else can take it. But then how will you be looked at?
Like no fucking.
Well, yeah, you don't have any followers, so it's not like it's going to get to anybody. But you know, maybe put the right hashtags on it. It could catch some attention.
I don't even remember how to tweet anymore. Jesus, how do you do this?
You type something stupid and opinionated and hit send, or you hit tweet or whatever. Feather. You tap the feather, I think. It's been a while. I don't think I even have the Twitter app on my phone anymore. Oh, I do. You know why? It's because when I was trying to find out I was trying to cross-reference how many followers we had to the list of top 25 high school-related podcasts, what they claimed we had. Matt is currently at least attempting to tweet.
Tweeting.
So if you happen to follow him, you will catch wind of this little statement before you hear it on here. But this way we know it's safe, and he could be credited as the creator of this joke.
You had hashtags later, right?
I believe you put them in the tweet itself.
Do you? Okay.
I believe they take up part of your characters, if I'm not mistaken. Even I
forget what Michael Jackson.
I forget what the character limit is now, but I think hashtags take up part of that.
Probably. All right. So what should all my hashtags be? Hashtag Michael Jackson. Hashtag HeHe. Hashtag pronouns. Hashtag a better tomorrow. No, I don't know what else to do.
A better tomorrow.
So the tweet is this: if Michael Jackson was alive today, would his pronouns be he? Or would his pronoun be HeHe?
Yeah, either that, or I think his pronouns would be. You're either putting it out there like, "Hey, don't you think this is what it would be?" Or you're saying, "This is what I think it would be." You could verse it, or you could word it either way.
Yeah. I'll just go with those 3 hashtags because I can't think of any more to put down. So we'll tweet this. Your tweet was sent.
Wow.
It's out there. It's in the world.
This made
It's the first I've tweeted in fucking ages.
This made me rediscover that I had tweeted something in response to a Haywood Banks tweet.
Yeah.
And he replied to it.
Oh, really?
Just saying, "Ha!" exclamation point.
Nice. That's the first thing I've tweeted since January 28th of 21.
Oh, more recent than I thought it would have been.
Yeah, it was because it was the podcast stuff.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
It was the ever taken 2 episodes at once.
Nice. Yeah, I remember for a long time.
Other than the starting of the podcast stuff, before that was in July of 18.
Yeah. For a while, all I was tweeting was whenever I would get a new follower, I would just tweet out that I got a new follower.
Right.
I'd be like, "Hey, I got another follower. You're sure gonna not regret this." You know, there was that kind of thing.
Right.
And that's all I was. So, yeah. That's what I feel about when someone follows me randomly on like Instagram. Well, I guess. I hope you're not expecting much because I do not post anything on Instagram.
Yeah, I haven't posted on Instagram in a long time. Twitter, I was never really a big poster on Twitter. And then
that's why I wonder if like
Facebook, I don't touch at all anymore.
I wonder if it's necessary if you want to get an audience to grow for something you're trying to do. Because I see everyone that's like, "Oh yeah, and follow me on this, this, and this, and this, and this." It's this list of things that they want you to go follow you on all of them. And I'm thinking, what does that accomplish? If they're already seeing you here, on what you're putting out, what will they gain from following you elsewhere?
They don't gain anything. It's the person gains everything because.
Right, but
because the more they're getting, then the higher up on the tiers that they get, and the more seen they get, so they get more followers, which brings them back to the original thing that they want them to be there for anyways. So it doesn't do anything for the person doing the following.
Sure. So in the other piece of that is, if I'm going to be out there like really pushing for everyone to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter and on whatever else, that means I will have to also start being active on those things. And that's just, I don't have time for this.
It's insane. Yeah. Even for us with our podcast shit. It's like it's even though we have 2 people that can do it, it's like we're not
doing
just
it.
like I can't be fucked to fucking do this shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, we also didn't come from a time where that was.
Yeah.
It was sort of
where we were just past that generation.
It wasn't weaved into like the fabric of what everyone strives for.
Right.
Now everyone just wants followers, right? So,
well, yeah, I think it's like we're weirdly on that cusp of like when we were growing up, careers like YouTuber and bullshit influencer and, you know, travel bloggist and like all this kind of shit, like that stuff did not exist. Those weren't those things were all things that got created kind of right on that edge of where if we wouldn't have jumped on it immediately, we had no chance of it. Like, there's too many people behind us doing it.
Have you heard of the term, and I might have told you this before, creepypasta?
Yes. Do
you remember what it is?
Vaguely.
It's basically
not something I got into.
Creepypasta is just a derivative of the term copy paste. And what it means is basically a story that gets online and just kind of travels because people keep reposting the story.
Right.
Well, it's popular, I guess the reason it's called creepy pasta, who knows? That's just because it's close to the word paste. But the creepy part is because that type of story is something that's supposed to be sort of like a spooky story.
Right.
There's a woman on YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty, but my son was watching this one woman for a while where her only presence seemingly on YouTube is that she will tell these stories.
Okay.
So it's not that she's even coming up with her own thing she's doing. She's just regurgitating stuff that already exists on the internet.
Right.
But for some people, a lot of people, she is like the source of finding out about these stories. And so it's interesting.
You find something that, you find an outlet that's giving you this information that you're interested in. So you just go to that source instead of going and searching for it yourself.
Right. But it's like, and I don't think it's even like, all right, next week we're on to the next brand new one. I think anything she discusses is already out there. Like anyone could just find it at any time. Yeah, lore stuff. It's like, and
it's old fucking internet stories. And
and it's funny because, for a while Leo was like, I don't know if he was seriously buying into it, but he would talk to me like, this is real life. Like, this stuff really happened. And I'm like, I had to keep just like, Leo, would you stop it? There's no way this really happened. People just make this stuff up so that you'll watch their videos. And so that stuff exists. So people can become lucrative by not even creating your own stuff. You're just basically reading off an article, and that's good enough.
It's like, how many freaking TikTok accounts are there out there where it's the same kind of shit or like a lot of accounts where it's like the entire video is this build up to this dumb fake like prank or something, but it's like a 3-minute long video of them just like setting it up and like being like, oh my god, I can't believe we're totally gonna get him. And just setting this whole thing up, and then like 5 seconds of like, it happened, and it's just like, and you just sit, and if you buy into it, you just sit there and watch their fucking video for the whole time of like this whole build up, what's gonna happen, and they're so horribly acted and so absolutely fake, and it's just like, why does this kind of content exist? Why are people continuing to follow these people and continuing to watch their obviously fake shitty videos? And they just annoy me because they come up on the feed all the time.
I feel like people like that appeal to really little kids, and so kids they're patient enough maybe to wait through all that, or they're entertained enough to sit through all that garbage leading up to it. What I've stumbled upon a couple times, which is weird for me because I'm not a sports person, but I'll see a video that's like this crazy last minute play of whatever game, and you click on it, and there's a good 6 minutes of just more game leading up to it. Right. I mean, this could have been a 4-second video. Why did you
show me the thing that you're fucking...
Show me the thing
but
that
no,
the title
it's because
is.
the longer somebody watches the video, the fucking better for
their channel,
your analytics and all this kind of shit. So of course they're going to be like, crazy last play, and then you're watching 6 minutes of bullshit normal play until this thing happens, and then you watch the thing and you're like, that wasn't even that crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of like the clickbait era and all that kind of shit too, and it's just like, ugh, come on. And the worst thing people can do is in fucking parentheses put like not clickbait, and then it's a total fucking clickbait video, and it's just like.
The other thing is when somebody posts an interview or something, and they'll always say it's rare.
Yeah.
Like, well, all interviews are one, and there's only one of every interview.
Right.
It's just, are you saying it's rare because not a lot of people have seen it, or it's just not as popular or well known or talked about interview? Is that what makes it rare?
Yeah, and it's like, it's not really. If it's here, if I can see, if it's here and it's posted and I can watch it, if I found this video, it's definitely not fucking rare because especially for me, I don't search that kind of shit on YouTube. So if rare interview pops up, it's not rare because I'm not looking for it.
The other one is Lost, the Lost interview.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's lost? Does it mean that back in the 80s when it was on TV, no one put in a VHS to record it off of TV at the time?
Right.
Like, what makes it a lost interview? I think that's trying to accomplish the same thing as calling something a rare interview. Right. It's just trying to get you more enticed to click on it.
Right. It's like, it's like once you call something lost and you have it, it's not lost anymore anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Call it the previously lost interview.
Right. No longer lost interview.
Like, I don't know. It's all dumb. I hate it all. It's like, that's why I watch the same shit over and over again too. It's just like the news. There's nothing new, like especially on YouTube. It's like there's nothing new that's good. Nobody's creating new shit on YouTube. It's all the same regurgitated crap. It's all people doing their version of the same shit somebody else has been doing better for years.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't get how people become famous. I just don't understand it.
But it won't happen.
Maybe that's why
it won't
I'm
happen
not
to you
famous.
Unless you try.
Yeah, I mean that's and that's probably completely true. It's like I'll never be famous, and I don't know how to become famous. It's like there's clearly no set thing that these are the steps you have to take to become famous, because people become famous for the dumbest shit, and I just don't understand why some of these people are famous and why we continue to allow them to be famous.
That's the big one.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's the big one. Is why does their career continue?
Yeah, it's because, and I hope, and this is why I hate shitty celebrities who are assholes to people, because it's like the only reason you have a career is because regular people in the world allow you to have it.
Yep.
Everything is dictated on ticket sales and, people coming to your shows and people following you on these different things. If you are an asshole to people, that's going to start going away, and then you don't have a career anymore. But apparently, that's also not true, because people still continue to follow a lot of these people who are complete and utter assholes.
Well, because the world is full of complete and utter assholes, so they probably identify with these people. B, they always say there's no such thing as bad press. So unless you're out there like murdering people.
Yeah, tell that to the cancel culture.
Yeah. But I can see Will Smith easily getting himself back into, making movies on the regular and being a huge star again.
I don't know if it's, I think he has a bit of a road to go down.
A little bit. But I don't know.
People eventually forget about it, and it'll be fine again.
I watched he had put out some video where he finally kind of spoke out. Will Smith finally speaks,
not clickbait.
And and I just know anything that comes out of that guy's mouth, I've never been able to. He's never made me believe anything he's ever said.
Right.
To make him the slightest bit relatable to the average person.
Because he's not.
And him saying that he's remorseful and feels sorry and he's got a lot of work he's got to do. It just sounds like so much like my publicist typed this up. These are the things I have to say to quote unquote officially apologize
rejuvenate my
prove
career.
that exactly. It's all so I can not be sad about not being able to be in a movie anymore.
Right.
And it's not like you need to ever work again, Mr. Will Smith.
Yeah.
You're set for life. You don't need another truck full of money dumped in your front yard.
Right. He's more. It's all it is his fucking ego at this point, because he doesn't want that situation to be the last thing he's fucking remembered for.
That could be it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to be remembered as the guy who fucking slapped Chris Rock. He doesn't want to be remembered as a fucking cuck, which he totally goddamn is. And he wants that all to fucking go away. But it's like, nah, as soon as that shit happened, like, I liked Will Smith just fine, as far as, like, I think he's a good actor. He's done a lot of good movies. He's usually pretty good in whatever he does. I think he's a horrible musician or musical artist. I don't want to call him a musician, so I don't think he's a musician, but, his music isn't for me or whatever. And he's done a lot of dumbass movies and shit too, but it's like, that for me was just like, what a piece of shit. Like, I don't ever need to watch him in a movie again. I'm never going to be like, I need to see that new Will Smith joint.
Will Smith, for me, he's in the similar area as like Tom Cruise, where anything he's in, I will never look at him and go, oh, he is this character. I'm like, that is Will Smith just being in another movie. Okay. To me, Tom Cruise is just Tom Cruise in another movie. He's just cast in a movie because he's Tom Cruise, not because he's playing a character. They get to such a high level of like movie star level, like fame, where to me, I don't ever see them as the character they're playing, because largely their acting doesn't even. I mean, Will Smith, I'll admit, has done some more dramatic roles where he's really kind of taken on. I think when he played Muhammad Ali, he was probably really good in. And I think what's the movie where he Pursuit of Happiness, I think, was a pretty serious one.
Where he started doing more biopic kind of stuff. Yeah.
But largely, in most things, it's just going to be, well, he's just Will Smith being Will Smith in a movie. Yeah. And that's why he's cast, because he's such a popular person. Everyone loves watching him, so they'll cast him to be themselves. Like,
I think Tom Cruise was more like that earlier on, too, though. Like, he did more stuff where he kind of was more immersed in a role that kind of took him out of, like, oh, that's Tom Cruise on screen.
Some of it.
Like, Interview with a Vampire kind of era.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, he's...
I suppose it's different now,
definitely
maybe.
A character.
With Tom Cruise now, I think it's different because...
It's just action movie.
Well, that's it. He's doing... It's Mission Impossible. It's whatever. Was he in, like, Reacher
Maverick.
Or something? Or Jack Reacher? What was that?
Yeah, I think that was what he did.
Wasn't that a few of those movies where wasn't there a couple? But yeah, it's all... You're right. It's all just... He's an action star that does his own stunts. Like, that's his big attention.
Yeah, I feel like that's... Yeah, I think that he's doing that now because he's at this point where he's like, I need to, like, show everybody, like, look, I'm 50-something years old. Look what I can still do. Like, it's just like he's trying to prove...
Yeah, I can still run for a really long time.
That he can fucking do this stuff. And it's just like, we get it. Like, you're good, but like... and you're not a bad actor by any means, but like...
No, like,
I kind of get it. At this point,
I recently saw a lot of A Few Good Men, and I'm like, I forgot how good of a movie this is, and he's excellent.
Saw a lot of A Few Good Men, huh?
I sure did. Yeah, it was. I don't know what situation to put myself in that's comical that would. Anyway,
didn't complete it though, or
I couldn't finish my thought.
Conclude.
My thought is what I couldn't finish or conclude.
Oh, okay. Watched a lot of the movie A Few Good. You watched a fair portion of the movie A Few Good Men recently.
Yeah, I watched a few of it. And yeah, it's just like it's a great movie. He's really good in it.
Yeah,
but I think I put him and Will Smith kind of in the same arena because he's another one where there's in interviews there's not a single shred of like relatability coming out of this guy.
Right. Yeah.
Not a bit.
He's above us, though.
Will Smith. Like, I put those two in. I get the same kind of vibe from both of them when I hear them talk, and they're trying to sound like human beings.
Is Will Smith a Scientologist also?
That I don't think he is. I wonder if
that has something to do with it.
I don't think he is, but I wouldn't be surprised. Or it wouldn't surprise me, I guess, if he is. But yeah, I just get no they're so far removed from normal humanity that nothing that they say, I can't go, yeah, I relate to you. I'm feeling what you're feeling, because they're on a mountain of luxury,
right?
And they kind of both came out in slightly different. Will Smith was a little bit after Tom Cruise as far as coming out onto the scene, but they're from that era of Hollywood where it was still kind of, you still had to get in the same ways as it always was before things kind of shifted and people were able to make much smaller sort of production companies, and things were a lot more independent, and you weren't like relying solely on like the giant studios to get a movie made. All those gatekeepers were they became more and more and more of them, and it was easier to get, and distribution, all the streaming services. It's a lot easier to get content made. So they both came from a time where it wasn't as easy. I akin it to getting a record made. I think it's so much easier now than it probably was back in the 90s and before,
right,
to get something made. So if you were someone who made it, quote unquote, there were few of you there was more attention of you because there was just less of you.
Right. Fewer to choose from.
And then Hollywood then supports you from then on out, and you're just the ones that get all the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And if there's voice work, don't give it to someone who's trying to get into the game of doing voice acting. Give it to this famous celebrity who's already known for being on screen, and let them do the voice for this cartoon character, even though they are boring. And
it's literally just their voice.
It's just exactly. They get hired because they are who they are. So they want to be able to say, Will Smith is in this, he's this cartoon dog or whatever. I don't know if he's ever done voice work for. No, he was in.
He was in Fishtail or whatever the fuck that dumbass movie was.
There's something else he was.
Shark's Tale?
Okay. I think there was something else he was in too that I can't think of right now. But anyway, yeah. I hear there are plenty of actors that get hired to do voice work that their voice is so unique that it lends to the character, it lends to what the project.
Like a Patrick Warburton.
Yes. Patrick Warburton, the guy whose name I can't remember, who was the voice of like Nemo's dad. His voice is very distinct and familiar. He voiced Hank Scorpio in the Simpsons episode where they went to Cypress Creek and Homer moved for a job. That guy.
Well, like Al Brooks or something.
But he, the voices like that. They're But then you have people who they're really famous, but their voice is not necessarily anything that stands out, or it's not my first go-to. Where it's like, this is a wacky character. Let's find the voice of someone who can do a wacky character. You pick someone who's very famous, but their voice doesn't do the character justice, I think.
Right.
So I get irritated by that too, because I'm sure there are plenty of people that are very talented voice artists or voice actors that can do a myriad of voices that don't get chosen for those things because, hey, this person's a giant megastar and this will get more butts.
A lot of those people do tons of video game voice work and a lot of like anime voice work. Like, you'd be amazed at how many voices a single person will do in just one anime alone. They'll do like 5 or 6 characters, and you wouldn't even know that it was the same person doing those 5 or 6 characters because they're that good.
Well, I mean, The Simpsons are like that. You got a few people doing basically all the voices.
Right.
And then
and they're all distinct.
Yes. They're all, again, once you finally see them sit down and that person in real life, you see them doing all the different voices. You're like, oh my God, I had no idea you did this character, this character, this character. And it blows you away that they can do all those.
Yeah. Like a Seth MacFarlane even.
Yep. Yeah. There was someone else I originally was thinking of that I lost it, but yeah, there are people like that who, what's it? There's some woman who's very big. Like, I think she did some of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, I can't think of her name off the top
of my
head.
Does a lot of.
She's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I just watched that the other day.
Oh, is she Dottie?
Yeah,
but her real name I don't know.
I can't think of her real name off the top of my head right now.
Maybe is that who I'm thinking of? I can't remember. But anyway, she does a lot of sort of like cutesy, high squeaky voice type of characters a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was that she was involved with that.
Elizabeth Daly.
I think maybe that is who it is.
E.G. Daly she goes by.
What does she go by?
E.G. Daly.
Oh, I don't know. I think that might have been who I was thinking of, though.
But she does Powerpuff Girls and just like she did stuff for Rugrats and.
Okay, then that has to be who I was thinking
Stuff
of.
like that.
I just didn't realize it was her, the woman who played Dottie in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. There you go. So I guess maybe that's it. Maybe it's a good one is Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
But he is largely he's the Joker for the most part.
Not anymore, but yeah, he retired from being the Joker now.
Now he
a few years back, but
in the Kevin Smith led Masters of the Universe He-Man show, he is the voice of Skeletor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That works for him.
Yeah,
That'll
he's
be good.
Skeletor. Yeah. Similar sort of like evil. I mean, Joker's voice and his are very different, but very evil. He's good at playing a villain.
Yeah.
Voice-wise anyway.
Which is awesome for the fact that he was Luke Skywalker. So it's just he got to be both the light and the dark side in the end.
Yeah, I'm sure he did a few things in between, but yeah, he went from being Luke Skywalker to being Joker on Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, there was some movies in between that were really kind of low budgety kind of things that he did.
It's sad. He got he became he blew up as Luke Skywalker, so he got typecast,
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with I know Carrie Fisher was in a bunch of stuff. I think out of the three of them, as far as movie star wise, like Harrison Ford is the one that
for sure,
that took that trophy. But Mark Hamill definitely built a strong career in the voice acting world.
Yeah. Yep, he definitely has not had a bad career.
Yeah, and then Carrie Fisher just died on a plane.
That's what she's known for.
No. I wonder what the last Star Wars movie would have been had she survived or lived.
I wonder what the last Star Wars movie would have been had
George Lucas done it.
No, well, had freaking Last Jedi not been what Last Jedi was.
Yeah.
So
I have a weird relationship with that movie because I do like what they were trying to do. He was trying to shatter conventions a little bit with Star Wars, and I think they were like, I think Disney and everyone else was like, no. I guess we want to go back to you have to be related to someone to use the Force, and
Yeah, I don't freaking know what the hell that mess ended up being.
It's gross.
I'd literally have to rewatch them, and I just don't know if I can.
Yeah, the shininess of Force Awakens definitely has washed off a long time ago, and I'm not. And
like, I get what people didn't like about Force Awakens. Like, I get that they're just like, oh, it's just a New Hope, but shinier and shinier and slightly darker and like this stuff. But it's like, yeah, but it was kind of necessary to kind of wash off the bad of the prequels. It was kind of this thing that was like, we're going to kind of bring this grittiness into it because it had to be grittier also because it's like, yeah, the prequels were shiny and beautiful because it was kind of before this war happened.
It was in the era where the Empire didn't exist.
Yeah. So then it was like, okay, that leads to, it gets, it ends on the darker note and then the original trilogy happens and then it's like, then the end needs to kind of be this darker, grittier thing because it's post all of that shit. So I think the way they kind of came in with The Force Awakens was like, it was a little bit of that nostalgia in there, which helped bring people back.
Yeah.
But it was still new enough that it was like, yeah, okay, I want to see where this goes. Now we can get real creative with the next two movies to get this story to go. And then it was like, what they did in Last Jedi was just like, this is, like everything that they built up in the Force Awakens, they just basically just retconned it all, and it just was like, well, what was the point? Why did we build up that Snoke was this big badass and then just fucking kill him off like nothing?
Right.
And same with fucking Phasma or whatever, the silver
Captain Phasma.
Yeah. It's like
wasted
again, kind of like showing she's like, don't fuck with her, and then just killed her off like it was nothing. It was just
not only killed her off,
what the hell is all this shit?
Not only killed her off, but there was a scene I think where they sort of captured her and like forced her to do something, and it's just like, yeah, that was too easy.
That was in Force Awakens.
Oh, it was?
And did that, yeah.
So either way, I mean,
but that was still like that thing happening was then going to be a driving force for her to really go after this dude. Yeah. And it was like, then they squared off, and he just kind of beat her fairly easily.
He did. Yeah, there was a lot.
She fell to her death. I mean, that's the thing. If you want to kill somebody, they fall to their death.
But then some people don't die when they do that. But prequels had, everyone hated that it was just overly CGI'd. There was way too much use of like blue screen or green screen.
Yep.
And people got turned off by that. People got turned off by Jar Jar Binks from the first one, which they very smartly featured very little in the following movies.
Unless he was trying to do what the theory was of like that Jar Jar Binks was going to be a Sith Lord, which in the end, that would have made all the previous Jar Jar shit super fucking worth it.
Yeah.
All the annoying stuff, if he would have then turned around and been like, that was all a fucking act.
Is that just a theory, or has George come out and said that? I call him George.
Part of me,
we're on a first name basis.
I'm on the fence on whether or not that it's come out that was kind of the original intention. Because there was all this, because the theory goes around like the fact that like Jar Jar was accidentally really good at like, he was accidentally killing these droids because he had like a droid stuck to his foot and he was flipping around and he was shooting other droids with it and all this stuff. So it was like, he was made to look like this goofy klutz, but then you kind of start to look at it like, oh no, everything he was doing was very intentional.
Calculated and everything. Huh.
And so if he would have then came around and then you find out he's a Sith, it would have been a fucking amazing reveal.
Yeah, I know that I had heard people like kind of say, oh, this would have been cool if it turned out that he was some sort of bad guy. But that was just more like fan ideas. I have not, I guess I hadn't heard like there was a theory that maybe the original intent was for him to be a Sith Lord. So, and part of it, the acting is awful. A lot of the acting in the prequels are awful, especially around Hayden Christensen. Which, have you ever heard Hayden Christensen in an interview?
No.
That guy is a pile of cardboard. He is a boring, personality-less person. So the fact that they got what they did out of him in those movies is kind of surprising. Because when the Kenobi show came out, obviously they're doing press for it, and you'd see something with him and Ewan McGregor, and Ewan McGregor is he's got a big personality. He's fun to listen to, and then him having a back and forth with Hayden Christensen, it's like Ewan McGregor just throws something out and it just smacks into a brick wall and falls to the ground. Like it's just there's nothing there. But so people didn't like that. The thing I didn't like about it was I can never like get invested in Anakin Skywalker and root for him to like. I can't like identify. I can't like feel. I know what's good. I know how it turns out. So I can't go like ooh.
So it's kind of like this.
I can never buy his anything that shows him as like a decent guy or that does the right thing or I don't buy any of it because I'm like, well, I know he becomes Darth Vader. It didn't give you it didn't give you anything to root for because you already knew the ending. But so it was kind of like, is it even interesting how he became it? And then the way they told the story is like, no, it's kind of not interesting how he became it. Like he was just whiny. But on paper, like the idea,
he just couldn't get his way.
The idea of telling the story about how Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader sounds like it would be. There's a huge amount of potential there.
But the potential versus
what we got,
the execution was.
Yeah, and so then the sequel trilogy is like it does. First of all, you got your lovable characters back in action. You've been you got your Luke and your Leia and your Han and Chewie. Well, Chewie was in the prequels too, but you got those guys back. So that's automatically giving it that strength. And then a lot of the effects were done more practically to honor the original trilogy. So it just has more of a look that's more recognizable to the version of Star Wars that everyone loved. And so it had all that stuff going for it. And I think people just didn't even like look at the fact that it was basically a New Hope. I mean, they saw it, they knew it, but they didn't care. Right. All they were focused on was like, wow,
so they did it again. Better. You had a lot of your friends were back.
Yeah.
The new characters that were introduced were at least interesting at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. They all fell apart.
They quickly made all of those characters like I didn't even give a shit about Rey in the end. I'm just like, who cares anymore?
Yeah, I don't
like. I really didn't give a shit about Finn after Force Awakens. I'm just like, ugh.
The thing is, his story could have been so much.
What is he? Who cares?
His story could have been so much more interesting.
Yeah,
because that was a new thing, and I think I heard someone else say this. That was like in Force Awakens. That was the first sort of like new concept
Yeah.
in a Star Wars
a turned
thing.
stormtrooper. Whoa, this could be crazy.
But they didn't show his internal struggle with any of that. Mostly, it was just like, "Hey, I'm good now."
It was immediate. It was immediate.
It was
just like,
immediate.
this isn't okay.
Yeah,
I'm out of here.
and the whole thing is, one of the things that Captain Phasma kept. Well, they're trained from birth. It's like if you
You're
are
brainwashed and trained from
indoctrinated,
birth, that's all you know.
Yeah, that's all you know. So you're not going to have a conscience all of a sudden once you get out there in your first real battle or mission or whatever.
Instead, you're going to be like, "Fuck yeah, I get to start killing shit."
Right. If that was truly, if you had that struggle, that would have been going on long before you went on your first mission with Kylo, with Darth Jr.,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like all psyched about that movie when it first came out, and I thought it was awesome. But then I was like, oh, another sort of Death Star? Is that all we have?
Yeah. Like, oh, we already had 2 of these previously, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, another one. Oh,
and we got to see the first one being built at the end of fucking a different movie, and it's like, all right, well,
yeah,
that'll be it. They're building it.
I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. I thought Kenobi, I liked the show. It has its problems, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think Star Wars, like we know, Star Wars fans are just they're so toxic and unpleasable that nothing is going to win over anybody's favor. It's like, well, you go out and make it then, I love that.
Star Wars fans are the Tool fans of the movie world.
That's a good comparison.
Jesus Christ. Like, I love Tool to death, but man, and I'm not all Tool fans, obviously, but like a lot of the diehard ones are just fucking assholes about anything.
Yeah.
And they're just so hardcore dedicated. It's like, they're a good band, but Jesus Christ, calm down.
One thing I love is I'll get lumped into that when I don't like something. Like, of course you're a Tool fan. Of course you'll say that.
It's like, I can like more than one thing.
Well, I'm also allowed to not like something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but what do you do?
What do you do? I know what you do.
You can...
You see you next Tuesday. That's what you do.
You do that. Do? HeHe does that?
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
We're on TikTok now, which makes us even cooler. HS Famous. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HS Famous Pod. Email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. We have Patreon too, but you'll never go there. Altogether, our hearts beat as one.